Great when Elder approached me about coming and speaking to you women as a seasoned sister. And I only hope that what I say here today will edify you, um, help you in your growth and maturity. And as you know, I think that I may be the oldest person in here. I'll soon be 59 years old. And my journey actually started out with me having kids early. I had my first child when I was 19 years old. So this is a little bit of what my journey looks like in this order. Y'all see that? I'm gonna hold this up a little longer. This is one of the sweetest parts of my life. This includes my granddog. And then we're gonna touch on maturity. Now right now I'm here to share, I'm a seasoned sister. And I want to share a little bit from my spice rack. This journey started as a baby mama. And during your years, your childhood, 18, 20, your 20s, this is where you begin with a season of salt. Salt is necessary for flavoring, but you never want to be too salty. Okay. Now, being a baby mama, that put me in a position to where I had to know that I had to develop the maturity to be able to have a vision for myself and my children. Which means while my friends were off to college doing Freaknik and all that stuff like that, I had to begin adulting and making adult decisions that were going to stand and make a difference for my life and my children's life. And that took making the right choices. It was hard, but you can do that. And the maturity and the growth came from what Elder was saying this morning. How do you do that? You have to start overcoming yourself. These years, the Lord was with me during that time, okay? That baby daddy situation is not to demonize anyone, but I had to take responsibility for myself, my part in that part of my life. Being from a family of professional women, my thing, what was put on me was to get out there, make it happen, no excuses. So I had to develop and go out and find a way to go out and make an income on a professional woman's level. So that meant, okay, where does this responsibility come? My mindset had to change. I had to overcome myself. My wife stage. At 27 years old, a good man came into my life. Being a good baby mama paid off for me. My parents gave me a paid-for house, a single mother, but along with that came the responsibility of taking care of what my parents gave me. That man saw a good woman in me. We shared things to build that we had in common. He wasn't just any kind of man that wanted to be my husband. He wasn't any kind of man. He was a man that we shared things in common. We could build and things like that. So I call this season my season of time. What is time used for? That season is used for meats, stocks, and soup. Meat is important in your life. If you're a vegetarian, yes, okay. Your stocks or whatever like that, what you make your soup with, your bases or whatever, these are stuff that's going to nourish you during your life. So you have to take care of that. So I had to have the responsibility of now taking care of man, my kids, his kids, which we'll get to it. But to season that man, I had to overcome myself. That wasn't the easiest part, taking on a man. He was a good man, and taking on a man. Okay, when I say season in that time, and it's the season meat, he was the meat of the house. But for me, this was a season, I don't have all the spices to make this work. This was my season of, okay, I have to learn. I don't really recognize what a man's voice is. So I'm in a season of my life where I'm extreme. I'm an extremely good wife in some areas, and I'm an extremely bad wife in some areas. I'm not here to demonize anybody. I can just tell you my story and how I grew. I had to overcome myself. With that came a blended family. It automatically thrust me into mine, his, ours, and someone else's. I was raising 5 kids, 5 different schools, with a full career, a husband, a house, to go along with that. I had to overcome myself. Doing this blended family did not give me the right to say, or be selfish to say, God has entrusted these kids with me. I can't just love my kids, our child, and not love the rest of those kids. That was a very delicate balance in my life at that time. How did I do it? I had to overcome myself. While raising 5 kids, a husband, financial stability, taking care of things, that's such a full-time job, 5 kids in 5 different schools, I worked on my education. My secondary education came in my life where I had a whole lot of stuff going on. Many nights I stayed up studying. I didn't get the support sometimes I needed, what I thought I needed. I needed affirmation. Right. I just happened to be with a person that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But how did I overcome that? I had to overcome myself. And a lot of times during this time I'm studying, wanting to make A's and wanting to be the best that I could be, I did not get that. I became bitter when that happened. I lashed out in my marriage. And you'll see at the end how I overcame that. It's important to have a financial plan for yourself. Whether you're with someone or not, a lot of times we start our life and we put the cart before the horse. We don't ask that man, hey, do you want to be a father? Right. What are your financial plans? What are your financial plans for us? These are questions that we have to ask. And it's important because it will lead not only you, but your whole family to a life of poverty if you don't do financial planning. How did I overcome that? I had to overcome myself. And I had to educate myself on insurances, which my parents instilled that in me. As a matter of fact, I still have the policy that my parents started out in their home. I carried that on. So I get all kinds of discounts and I'm under grandfather clauses that you wouldn't even believe. But financial planning is very, very important. You want to leave a legacy. Having your kids struggle and all of this, it's not fair to them because we can pick our children, but our children cannot pick us. Mm-hmm. How to overcome that? Overcome yourself. I didn't tell you what, this was my sage stage in life. My education part of life was my sugar. I enjoyed learning. I'm a lifelong learner. And that's something that you need to consider because you're forever evolving. You need to be learning something new at all times. That was my sugar stage. Now that blended family, I call that my pepper stage. I picked up peppers. Because baby, I had to be very spicy and hot to raise 5 kids. Mine, his, ours, and someone else's. I had to establish my dominance in the house as a woman, as a mother, in a motherly way. My femininity to say, hey, you're not gonna do what you're gonna do, what you want to do in this house, and still remain feminine. Pepper is good, ain't that hot? The separation and divorce phase. You can break up with your boyfriend, you can, you can get your heart broken and break up, but separation is, I'm gonna say cayenne pepper. You have to be very, very careful with that spice. That separation stage is hot and it's a little fruity, but sometimes we a little fruity in our head when we're going through this. This stage of my life was like a death, and no disrespect to my sister who has lost her husband, but that's what it feels like. If you've been with somebody for years and you've bonded or whatever, and sometimes, some things are just not meant to be. That's not the time. It's a time of testing. You have to seek counsel. Learn not to demonize. My first stage of this was all about demonizing. He did this. He wasn't that. And it took up so much time that I could have spent healing, really, really healing, and reflecting on, you know what? When I met that man, he was a good man. He still is. He's just not for me. And that's okay. How did I get through that? Well, what did Elder say?
Overcome yourself.
Overcome myself. That wasn't my fault. Part of it was, whatever, but it's okay. It's okay to separate. It's okay to agree to disagree. It's part of maturity. And you know what? At the end of this, the most thing I had to do, I had to learn the art of negotiation. It's not for me to take everything. Give him something too. But let's talk about that. That was hard because I'm only dealing with me. I can't deal with and tell y'all about him. He's not here to defend himself. So I'm talking about me. And this is my journey, And I don't know where you guys are with your journey, but you're somewhere, and it may not be in this order, But you can come to me. If I don't know the answer, I can give you I can tell you something about it. You young women. And you don't have to go through everything in life that's challenging. When you have someone that you can shadow, that you can ask questions, that I'm going to be real 100 and give you the God honest truth as I know it, Like I said, this is my cayenne pepper. This mother-in-law phase of my life, this is like honey to me. Because I only had one daughter. I've gained 2 daughters. And you know what I told them? I told my daughter-in-laws that I want to be the mother-in-law that I never had. And that means so much to me because my sons are not my man. That's not my man. Ain't no man to me. That's their husbands. Their relationship is off limits to me. I take pride in that. I know that how they treat their wives is a direct reflection of me. And I expect excellence out of them as a husband. My daughter-in-laws can come to me for anything because I'm team girl first. And they know that. They can love me and they can trust me with anything. And this is my honey spice. And one of my most prideful areas in my life, because I know that these ladies, they love and they trust me. I'm a grandmother. That includes my grand dog. And when the bishop has to go out of town or attend business, or even to them having to go have their baby, I do keep grand dog. Grand dog is treated just like one of the grandchildren, with love. Grand dog gonna get disciplined. And I love my grandchildren. My job is not to undermine my children's authority as they are parents. That is not my job. My job is to spoil. My job is to instill. And it's also to correct. I love my grandchildren. And this is another honey phase in my life. We're gonna talk about what is maturity. We can look at maturity in 4 aspects. Your physical maturity, when we go from a girl to a woman. We can talk about mental maturity. And in that mental maturity phase, sometimes people get stuck. They get stuck in a part of life, and it's called arrested development. Something can happen or trigger you in that phase where you don't grow anymore. You are a perpetual teenager. You stuck in that phase of life. And sometimes people can put negative imprints on your life that it's hard to get over. Some people never get over. Tell you're not this. You're not going to be that. That's a more hard part to get over. And then your emotional maturity. And then you have your spiritual maturity. And I'm just going to get, I'm going to just ask anybody, whoever wants to say, what do you think maturity is? Is it because of your age? Because I'm 59, I'm supposed to be mature or whatever?
Your thoughts.
Okay, Sister Zahar first.
Your thoughts.
Your thoughts? Okay.
Being a bigger person.
Being a bigger person?
Yeah, like choosing to hold your tongue in certain situations, even though you may or may not be right, but to just keep the peace is part of being mature.
You're right too. Okay, Sister Messiah?
Your level of self-awareness.
That's true too. How do we feel about maturity? Sometimes on some task or something in your life, you just don't want to step up to the plate. You know, you may be afraid of leadership. You may be afraid to step outside the box. Like, this was a scary situation for me because this is a platform that Elder actually opened up for me. You know, I thank God for him looking at me in a way that I didn't look at myself in here. I thank God for that, ladies. And this is an opportunity for us to grow and be better and to share and then make the bond of our sisterhood, to take our seasoned sisters, our younger sisters, and get together and really be able to trust each other with things and come to each other, that we'll have the understanding as a woman, our womanhood, our mindset, some things that men don't understand. And it was scary to me. I didn't know how I would be received, how to put this together in a way that's not too, I don't have to use the scriptures to be relevant to my sisters. That you feel my heart as an older woman. I want to share. If you need to shadow, if it's anything that I can give you, lead you to information, anything, I lay down everything I have for you. And I want to see this play forward. Now, back on that maturity thing, what we can expect maturity is. Maturity is not a matter of age, but instead how you choose to respond and react to various life situations. It is a level of mental development or wisdom, mainly wisdom, that has a bearing on all areas of an individual's life, right from their conduct to their relationships with others, and how we handle things in every area of our life, here in the body, on our jobs, in our families. That maturity is needed. Everything, we don't have to, we can pick and choose our battles. We want to grow through what we go through. I just lost my mother a year ago. I'm growing through that loss. I can say that my mom will be proud of me because some of the things that I'm figuring out without her being here. She was 94, and I know when she passed, I'm 90, I'm 57. You think I have it all? I needed my mom, you know. And for those who don't have their mom anymore, I hope that I have something in me that can soothe your sorrows, put a smile on your face, just be 100 with you. And I hope and I pray that you will be that way with each other. And that's my thing on the maturity aspect. I said I wasn't gonna be before y'all very long, but I just wanted to present that as an open door to my heart. I love each and every one of y'all. If there's anything that I can help you with, and that's pretty much anything. I do look at you guys as daughters. We have other seasoned women in the body as well. And hopefully we can all, come together as women in truth. That we can piggyback, that we can learn from each other. That we'll be able to communicate with each other in a way that edifies the body. And that's all I have. I'm just opening up. If you don't know my number, contact me through anything, and we'll take elders lead from there. But appreciate this moment. That's all I can say on this platform. Thank you guys for your time, and I really hope and pray that I delivered this in a way that really helped everybody.